like to learn more about the holiday, the Day of the Dead? Then you will enjoy this book, Andy and the Mask of the Dead by Carolyn Watson Dubisch. This is a story about a mysterious girl with a skeleton mask who appears outside of Andy's home and then opens his eyes to the phantasmic world of the Day of the Dead. On the very last night of the full moon, Andy sat by himself, alone in his room. His skeleton costume was laid out on his bed. Excited, he pulled it over his head. The costume party wasn't far. His mother would tell him to wait by the car. From the bushes came a young girl. Flowers were woven into her curls. Look at that beautiful picture. She's got such beautiful paint and beautiful colors around her eyes. She offered him a mask of a painted skull. So he strapped it on with a little buckle. So that's a pretty neat way to have the masks, that you have a little buckle. And see how she made one just like she's wearing. "How do I look?" he said, spinning around. She laughed and then floated 3 feet off the ground. What? How did she float in the sky? Wow. Andy shook with fright and ran back toward the front door. But there stood an old woman where there was no one before. Well, how did that person get there? Would you like some pan de muertos, Andy? Is all of this just for me? He lifted the mask to take a bite. Some delicious food that she's offering him. And suddenly, she was out of sight. He pulled the mask down and looked around. Ghosts were floating up in the trees. Wow, what is going on? Is this a dream or is this real life? Far away and in the street, holding hands and even eating sweets. Such beautiful illustrations. Andy started eating his own special treat and took a walk down the crowded street. So you can see all the different people that he's walking with around here. All of them wearing those masks. One ghost gave him a rose and a crown of marigolds. And marigolds are very important in the Day of the Dead. Those flowers hold a lot of symbolic messages for the culture. Then he danced to music from long ago. So he's just enjoying his time. And then his mother said, "Andy?" "Andy, we're running late. We have to go." Yes, I know. Andy waved to his friends and left in the car. His party with the dead was the greatest by far. So I hope you enjoyed this story all about the Day of the Dead. His mom said, "Where did you get your mask?" So at the end, there's some information all about the Day of the Dead. It's Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, which is a celebration of life and death in Mexico. It is a 2-day celebration that occurs on November 1st and 2nd each year, just after Halloween. People celebrate in cemeteries throughout the country, bringing favorite foods, drinks, and items of their loved ones who have passed. For the 2 days, people are not mourning, but rather it's a celebration and a remembrance. There are costumes, masks, lots of food, and parades in cities around Mexico. Special altars are built in the cemetery with candles and mementos, and special food is eaten, like pan de muerto, or bread of the dead. The hope is to encourage visits from the souls of the departed. So I hope that you loved this book and learned a little bit more about the Day of the Dead. If you'd like to see this book, you can find it in the link in the description. And I hope that you'll like and subscribe to see more Honeybee Tales. See you next time.